What's going on, guys? It's Jacoborth back with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas. Here to answer a question today that somebody had asked me. They wanted to email me personally, and I actually just asked them to put it out there in the comments section and told them if it was good enough I would do a response video. And I think it's definitely worthy of a response. So we're going to get to that in just a second. But first I got to say, thank you guys for watching this channel. Thanks for watching this video. Appreciate all you guys who've been watching and sharing. Getting pretty close to the 100 subscriber mark right now, so this video may be the one to put me over. So thanks for checking it out. Also, please be sure to visit my blog, Jacobslifeinvegas.com. You can book your trip through Vegas through there. Also got some entertaining stuff for you guys to read and check out, whether you're thinking about moving here or just want to look at the tourist stuff. So, getting onto it, this person is going to be thinking about moving here from the San Francisco Bay Area, just like I did. Their question was essentially, what steps did I take before I moved here to Las Vegas? Because like most people who are thinking about moving out here, they do want to come out here, they're interested, but they don't want to come out here without a job lined up, which I think is smart. They've heard how bad it was when the economy went down here with the unemployment rate, with the foreclosure rate, because this economy really did get hit hard. It was one of the worst hit areas in the country. And the economy is starting to do better out here, but it is smart to come out here and try to have a job lined up first, try to have all your ducks in a row as best you can. My story before I came out here, I think it was springtime 2012 when I thought about coming out here, just kind of an idea then, didn't really think about it much after that. Didn't really think about it over the summer. Then it was in the fall of 2012 and I started to think about it more because I was in my last semester of graduate school and had to think about what I was going to do after school, and I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is some of the highest cost of living in the country. California has the highest income taxes in the country. I mean, it is not a cheap endeavor just to exist out there in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I had to think of what I was going to be doing afterwards, and just Vegas came back to me because I knew in nightlife that you can make pretty good money out here. And I talked to one of my old managers at a nightclub in San Francisco I'd worked at several years before, back when I was like 19 years old. I remember my manager saying, yeah, you can make pretty good money out there in Vegas. And I just looked into living out here. I had just researched it a little bit, and I eventually just decided I was going to go ahead and take a trip out here. I mean, I figured I didn't have anything to lose. I saved up. I had some money saved up to take a trip. And one thing I did before I came out here was I pulled every conceivable string, talked to every person I could possibly think of who had some connection out here. I talked to a couple of my old managers from back in San Francisco when I worked up there. I talked to a guy that I used to work with. He was a bartender with me at the nightclub company in San Francisco I worked for, and in San Jose briefly. He worked at the same club where he was a bartender down there. He used to actually work at a gentleman's club out here in Vegas. I talked to one of my old football coaches at San Jose State because he actually coached at UNLV before he came out to San Jose. So he had still had several guys he had coached who were out here and working. His daughter actually went to UNLV, so she helped me out, did what she could. One of my relatives I found out, who actually lives out of state, doesn't even live in California, a guy that he works with went to UNLV, was in a fraternity at UNLV, and he put me in touch with a guy who actually has his own rugby league out here. So actually, just through asking, it was kind of interesting to see how many people I came across that knew people out here who had some kind of connection. I mean, there was even another guy on staff in the football department of San Jose who had, he was originally from Hawaii, but he had lived out here in Vegas, was part of UNLV staff, and worked nightlife, I think just as kind of a summer job for a little while, so he helped me out a bit. But I mean, I talked to anybody and everybody I possibly could before I came out here, because I hadn't been to Vegas since a family vacation like 12 years before. And I looked into all of it. I looked into flights, looked into staying at hotels. I did a whole bunch of reading online. about neighborhoods out here, what it's like to live out here. I went to citydata.com on the Las Vegas forum. That was a very helpful place to look at. And I just went for it. I just decided I was going to come out here, go job hunting, see what I could find. And I was pretty much committed to coming out here. I mean, I had told myself that if I didn't find work in the week that I came out here, then I was probably going to have to finish the semester. I graduated in the fall of 2012. Go to my parents' house in Modesto, live there for a few months just doing jobs to make some money here and there, and then come back out again like in the springtime to look for work out here in Vegas. I mean, even before I came out here, I was pretty much committed to moving out here because I wanted to move out of California and I wanted to do something else. So I came out here the Monday after Thanksgiving 2012. I came out here for 1 week, found the cheapest rate on this trip I could find, kept myself on a tight budget, and just went out job hunting. The first day I came out here, I met up with a nightclub host that a friend of mine in San Jose. I knew him somewhat, and this guy was really cool. He was hosting a group that night. We actually went to XS nightclub that night, went out, actually went to Spearmint Rhino afterwards, hung out there for a little while. I talked to some guys there about, working in the industry and that kind of thing, getting a job, all that stuff. So the next day was really the big one, though. It was that Tuesday night. Really, Tuesday during the day, I actually interviewed at a nightclub who said they're going to be needing some people. And it was that night, Tuesday night, one of the old players from my coach in San Jose, one of his old players here at UNLV, he actually was more than nice enough to come, pick me up, and drove me around to about half a dozen other gentlemen's clubs to pick up applications, talk to managers, ask about getting hired. And, I mean, it was, great that he did that for me, because I came to find out that actually getting into a gentleman's club is harder than getting into a nightclub out here, because there's a lot fewer of them. And he took me around to all those clubs, applied, talked to people, and took me to one. It was the last one we stopped at, and there was it was one he actually used to work at. And I went, applied, I put this guy down as a reference and the host that I had met the day before down as a reference, because that host knew some of the managers at this club. And then also I was just outside talking to a couple guys, and lo and behold, there was a guy on staff at this club who had played tennis at San Jose State years before. He was, I think he was more than 10 years older than me, but he just heard me over say something about San Jose State. And we just started talking, and he goes, "Oh yeah." I told him, I said, "Yeah, I went to school there, played football there. I'm finishing school in a couple of weeks." So yeah, I played tennis there, and I told him, "So yeah, I lived on 11th Street." And he goes, "I lived on 10th Street." And it was just interesting to have that connection out here in Vegas, hundreds of miles away from San Jose. And he said, "Why don't you did your application?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, why don't you come back tomorrow? I'll introduce you to the hiring manager, and we'll go from there." So I came back the next day. That would be my third day out here. Talked to the hiring manager. He liked me. He said, "Hey, the GM will be here in a couple hours." Stayed, met the GM, talked with him. He liked me, and he said, "Okay, we'll hire you, but you need to get all your work cards done before you fly back to California." So the next 2 days I had to get all 3 of my work cards, my sheriff's card, my health card, and my TAM card, which I did. And then the next day, Saturday, the guy who drove me around the area on Tuesday, I told him I was looking for a place. He said there was an extra room in the house he was renting. Went over, looked at it, liked it, signed the paperwork that day, just a couple hours before I came back to San Jose. All I did that day was I had rented a car, and I drove out to Henderson just to see a little bit of that area. Went out to Green Valley area, and that was it. I mean, my trip consisted of being around the Strip and seeing the neighborhood I was going to live in. Signed the lease, flew back to San Jose for a final. 2.5 weeks later, was out here in Vegas. I mean, I had my car packed when I went to my last final at San Jose State. Packed full, left the final, went to my parents' house in Modesto, and stayed the night in Modesto. Woke up next day, left probably about 11:30 in the morning, and was in Vegas probably by about, 8:30 that night. And I'd never looked back since. So when I came out, before I came out here, I mean, I had a job lined up. It worked out in my favor. Quite a few things worked out in my favor when I came out here, and I took that chance. And that's really a big part of it, is taking a chance. You know, a lot of people, it's hard to take that risk, but I mean, I didn't know if it was going to work out, and it did. And I think a big reason it worked out was because I had already made the decision and made the commitment I was coming out here. And like I said, if it didn't work out, if I didn't get hired on that week, I was probably going to go back home, back to Modesto for a few months, come back out here again, and try again to look for work. I mean, I had decided I was going to be living out here. And I think when you make decisions like that and you take that kind of action, more often than not, you're going to get what you want. And that was really what happened for me. And that's what I suggest for other people. I say, if you can, especially if you're in California or you're in Arizona, you're someplace where you can drive here in a day, take time, drive here, do applications, and look for work. Do it beforehand. I've known people who've come out here without a job lined up and they've been able to make it work. You can do that because the cost of living is really low out here. You can find jobs out here, okay? There are jobs in this area of 2 million people. Jobs do exist. And just understand, though, if you get out here and you don't have anything lined up, you know, obviously you need some money saved up to live for a couple months. I think I had about 2.5 months of living expenses saved after I moved out here. And then after, you know, a few months of working, I was in a much better position. But if you don't have something lined up, you're just going to have to take what you can get when you come out here. And if you have no debt and you don't have anything lined up, then you're still not in a bad spot because the cost of living is so low. I mean, if you have no debt, you could essentially live off a minimum wage job working 40 hours a week. You know, that's a little over $17,000 a year before taxes. You're not going to be living like royalty. You're going to definitely have to have roommates. You're not going to be eating out really probably at all, but you can do it. Okay, so if you don't have any debt and you're coming out here like by yourself, you're in a pretty good position. If you have a wife or husband and kids or other people depending on you, that's going to depend on your situation a little more and how much risk you're willing to take. But I generally recommend taking time to come out here beforehand to try to find a job and have something lined up, okay? If you're committed to coming out here and you've decided you really want to, then there's a really good chance it'll probably work out for you somewhere or another because you've made the decision that you want to come out here. So that was the biggest part for me, was just deciding I wanted to live here, and one way or another I was going to make it happen. And it hasn't been smooth the entire time. You know, up and leaving the state, the only state I've ever grown up in, all the people I grew up around, my family and friends, but I am overwhelmingly happy with the decision I made to come out here. It has been way, way more good than it has bad. So that's my story of what I did before I came out here. Those are some of the steps I took. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys. I know some of you are already planning to move out here. Some of you are planning to come out here and look for work in the near future. Have questions, ask away. I'll do the best I can to help you guys out. Thank you for subscribing. Please share the video. Please like the video. Please go check out my website, Jacobslifeinvegas.com. Thanks, guys.